Now let us look at a sutram which prescribes a krut affix, a krut pratyaya ka. Um, and in this sutram we have a saptamyantam padam. So we are going to use the adhikaraha which we just introduced. So this sutram is 31136. So 31136. Now if you recall, we have recently studied the sutram Igupad-सञ pri-kirah kaha. Anuvritti of kaha comes down into this sutram ataschopasarge. Ataschopasarge. There's one more warning right here, is that this same sutram ataschopasarge, it comes in the Ashtadhyayi, in another place in the Ashtadhyayi also, ataschopasarge. So the same sutram is repeated means it is, of course, it has a different meaning in that context, but this same sutram ataschopasarge, it comes in the adhikara of striyam tin, and that one will be used to form feminine noun. So it is a completely different context. It's a completely different context, but the sutram is worded the same, ataschopasarge. So be careful of this. This ataschopasarge comes in Ashtadhyayi in two places. One in the adhikara of striyam tin, and one which we are studying right now. So just as a note for you, so you have to be careful. Um, this is not the only time that Panini does that. For example, sutram like nishtha, it comes in Ashtadhyayi in more than one places. So there are these rules which come in the Ashtadhyayi in more than one place, and this is one of them. Ataschopasarge. Okay, so the Padacheda sutram is ataha cha upasarge. Upasarge. Cha means is continuing this anuvritti of ka from the prior sutram. So not only this affix ka pratyaya is not only prescribed after these dhatus, but also after a dhatu ending in a akaraha, ataschopasarge. Let us remind ourselves that we are that any kut pratyaya is as a default used kartari krit, kartari krit, kartari krit. So unless stated otherwise, a krit affix denotes the agent of the action. Okay, let's look at the complete vritti of this sutram. Anytime we look at a sutram, please read the vrittihi as a mark of respect for the vrittikaraha, the kaumadikaraha, and also to understand exactly so that you don't miss any nuances of the sutram. So you don't miss any details. Read the vrittihi carefully and repeat the vritti also so you can understand what exactly sutram means. In this case, the vritti is very simple. Kaha syat. The affix ka pratyaya syat. Ka pratyaya syat. So ataha. Ataha means by taparasthatkalasya means that a term ending in a, not a term but a dhatu ending in akaraha. Why dhatu? Because of the fact that we are in the dhatu adhikara, which of course we know starts from 3191 dhatu adhikara. And staparas tatkalasya says that when he says ata, it means only the dirgha akaraha. It does not take with it the rasvaha. So ataha means adantad dhatoho. Now how do we get adantad dhatoho? That's this paribhasha sutram which you have studied. Yena vidhistadantasya. Yena vidhistadantasya. Which means that when Panini uses an adjective to prescribe a vidhi, to make a prescription, then that adjective stands not only for itself but also to a term ending in that. So we are in the dhatu adhikaraha. So that ataha is qualifying dhatoho. It becomes adantad dhatoho. Adantad dhatoho. Dhatu ending in the akaraha. So if you want to go back and look at this paribhasha sutram, yena vidhistadantasya. So that's how we get the interpretation that this affix ka, which comes anuvritti from the prior sutram 31135, that may be used after a verbal root which ends in the akaraha, in the dirgha akaraha. And then maybe after verbal root, I should put a, this one is not complete. After verbal root, uh, ending in a akaraha, ending in a akaraha, ending in a akaraha, ending in a akaraha. That was missing there, so akaraha. Okay, akaraha. When in now let's look at the last part, which is um, when in composition with a upasargaha. Okay, now when in composition with the upasargaha, because upasarga is saptamyantam padam, and we just discussed the adhikara sutram tatropapadam saptamistham. So this affix ka may be used after dhatu ending in akaraha, but only on the condition that a upasarga is close by, is in composition. It co-occurs with this upasarga. It has to occur. This dhatu has to occur with the upasarga, with a upasarga. That's the condition of using this affix ka. So that upasarga, whatever upasarga might be, that gets the sanya upapadam. And only when the upapadam is present, then only ka may be used. Now we have studied the sutram upasarga kriya yoge. Upasarga kriya yoge, which is number 1459. We have studied the sutram a long time back. I think it may be here in Sutra Suchi 1459. Upasarga kriya yoge. So paradayaha kriya yoge. Upasarga sanyasyoho. These 22 terms indicate in the Paradiganaha. In Paradiganaha. So 1458 is Paradayaha. 158 is Paradayaha. And those terms pro etc. they get the designation of Upasargaha when used in conjunction with a verb. The terms pro etc. get the Upasarga Sanya. Of course, right now we are in the Dhatu Adhikaraha. So a Paradihi which is used with a Dhatu, the Kriyavachaka Shabda, that gets the Upasarga Sanya. So the final meaning of this sutram says that the affix ka may be used after a verbal root ending in akaraha when in composition with. So when this dhatu, it has to be used with, along with, in conjunction with a upasarga. Upasarga defined by upasarga kriya yoge. Let's take an example. So this upasarga is this technical saptami which we are talking about. So this gives the upapad-sanya to the upasarga. Upasarga means pro etc. which are used in conjunction with the dhatu. So let's take an example, and those are required to use this affix ka. Without that, you cannot use this affix ka. So let's take an example, prajanatiti prajnaha. Now, let me tell you right now that we are going to be making a small foray into the samasa prakaranam. We're going to have to learn a small part of the samasa prakaranam in order to understand these examples. So we are going to be taking a small digression, and because we cannot complete these forms which we are trying to derive unless we know some basics of how to form compounds. Now this upapad-sanya, what happens is that once we get the upapad-sanya, the important implication of that upapad-sanya is that it will compound. It will form a compound as per the sutram upapadam ating, which we are going to be studying next. So to understand these examples fully, we will have to study the sutram upapadam ating next, and we'll also have to understand some basics of compounds, some basic terms of compounds, and how to form a compound, how to do some elementary operations in a compound. We have to understand that. That is not the current topic. That's not the main topic right now, but we are going to have to do that. Otherwise, we cannot complete these forms. So the Vigraha Vakyam right now is Prajanati iti. Prajanati iti prajnaha. One who understands well, one who understands in a special manner, one who understands intensely. So Prajanati iti prajnaha means a wise man, basically. One who understands, specially understands, is a wise man. So derived from dhatu jna avabodhane with the upasarga praha. Upasargaha pra, I'm sorry. Upasargaha pra. Now this is what is called as a Laukika Vigraha Vakyam. These are all these compound terms, and we'll be studying them in great detail a year from now when we study compounds. But I'm just giving you some small introduction to compounds. Is this Vigraha Vakyam? Vigraha Vakyam is, it's an explanatory sentence. It is a sentence which explains the compound. We are going to derive the compound prajna. So this is the compound. And why is it a compound? Because we have taken this nya, which is the krudantam, and we have taken this pra, which is the upasargaha. So we have taken two terms and combined them into one pratipadikam. So that is a compound. A compound is when you take a subantam and another term, which typically also is a subantam, not in this case, but in normally a samasa will have two subantapade, dve subantapade, in a put into a single pratipadikam. This creates a compound. So this one is a special case which we are going to be studying the details coming up, and it has one subantam which is pra. Now how is pra a subantam? Because pra gets the avyaya sanya, is the all is these pradayaha, just refresh our memories, pradayaha, they get the avyaya sanya. Why is that? Because they have the nipata sanya by pragrishwaran nipataha. These pradayaha, these terms pradi, whether upasarga or not, they always have the nipata sanya. And then swaradi nipata mavyayam. Swaradi nipata mavyayam. So they get the avyaya sanya. Avyaya means what? We bring the default sup pratyaha su, the prathama ekvachanam as the default, and then we do avyadap supaha. Is this sup pratyaha takes the look elision, and by pratyay lope pratyay lakshanam, these retain the padasanya, because they get the so they are subantam padam. So every avyayam is subantam padam, even though the sup is no longer visible because of avyadap supaha. This is all old things which we have studied, but we are wondering how is this para subantam padam, because we cannot see the sup pratyaya over here. The sup pratyaya is gone just because of these pradis have the nipata sanya, because then the adhikara of pragrishwaran nipataha, and then by swaradi nipatam avyayam 1137 they get the avyaya sanya. Then avyadap supaha, the sup ending, in this case the default su ending, it takes the look elision. But pratyay lope pratyay lakshanam, so it's still a subantam. So pra is a subantam. Which has combined with another term nya to form this compound. So this is called the Laukika Vigraha Vakyam. Laukikam means as in a regular language as you speak it, not the technical, the non-technical language. It means in regular parlance, in as is the spoken language, not the language of grammar, but the spoken language. So prajanati iti prajnaha. That's called the Laukika Vigraha. So remember this term Laukika Vigraha Vakyam. Compounds have a Laukika Vigraha Vakyam. They also have a Alaukika Vigraha Vakyam. So this is the Laukika Vigraha Vakyam. And this one which is given below over here, which we're going to see later on when we form the compound, this is going to be the Alaukika Vigraha Vakyam. Alaukika Vigraha Vakyam. When we just put in the technical breakdown of the compound, that is the Alaukika Vigraha Vakyam. So Laukika Vigraha Vakyam and Alaukika Vigraha Vakyam. So what do we have so far is that we have prajanati iti prajnaha. So and using this prior adhikara sutram, tatra padam saptamistham, this pra, which is the upasargaha, it has sanya of upasargaha by upasargah kriya yoge, that gets the designation of upapadam, because upasarge is saptamyantam padam used in the sutram. So the upasarga, in this case the upasarga pra, gets the designation of upapadam. Now let us complete one part of the derivation, which is adding this affix ka to this dhatu, in this case nya. Nya is a dhatu which ends in the akara, dirgha akara. So it is the adanta dhatu. So it qualifies to take the affix ka by this sutram under the condition that we have upasarga as the upapadam. So this part of the derivation, this is one part of the derivation. We take nya, add the affix ka by atascha upasarge, and then the derivation is very simple. We just remove the it letter by this kakara gets the it sanya by lashakva tadyate, and then tasya lopaha. So we get anubandha lope akaraha. Then ato lopa iticha, ato lopa iticha. So this kakaraha as a it allows us to remove this ending akara of the dhatu by 6464. 64. This gives us a chance to practice all this anga which we have been learning. Ato lopa iticha. Ajadyo radhadhatikayoho knititoho knititoho parayorato lopaha. So the ending akara of a angam, in this case the angam is nya, that was the term to which the pratyaya was added, takes lopaha when followed by a vowel beginning ardhadhatuka pratyaya. In this case the pratyaya is a. Remember always that when we say vowel beginning, consonant beginning, ekach, anekach, we have to first remove the it letter. Then only we check for all these properties. The it letters don't come to derivation. They only pass on, they only give some instructions and then they go away. So the affix is ka, but by lashakvatadyate kakaras is sanya tasya lopaha. Anubandha lope a. Now we have a dhatu beginning, now we have a pratyaya beginning with a ach letter, the akaraha. So it is also a kit pratyaya. So this ato lopa iticha applies when we have, and it also has a sanya of ardhadhatukam. This is also important because this ato lopa iticha, it comes in the adhikara of ardhadhatuke. Ato lopa iticha comes in the adhikara of ardhadhatuke. So from here, this ato lopa iticha, here the adhikara starts of ardhadhatuke, this one over here. So we have to check all the conditions. So right now what do we have? We have this affix ka, anubandha lope a, which has sanya of ardhadhatukam by ardhadhatukam sheshaha 34114. It is ajadi pratyaya. It's also kit pratyaya. So that allows us to do the lopaha of the ending akara of the angam nya. So we get nya plus a becomes nya. So this is now a kridantam. It's a krid ending term. It is not a subantam. It is not a subantam. We have not added the affix sup, but it's a kridantam, krid antam. It is a pratipadikam. It gets the pratipadika sanya by kritayita samasascha. It is a pratipadikam. Pratipadika sanya it has, but it's not a subantam. Not a subantam. It is a krid antam, which is a pratipadika sanya. That's all we have so far. So that is the interaction between the affix nya, between the dhatu nya and the affix ka. So when we add the affix ka to dhatu nya, we get the form nya. So that's what we have. Now to complete this form, we are going to have to compound this nya with the upapadam, in this case pra, to get the form prajna. So now we have to find a samasa vidhayaka sutram, a sutram which authorizes, which prescribes this compounding. Just to give you a very small introduction here, that all the samasa vidhayaka sutrani, they are in the Ashtadhyayi in 2.1 and 2.2. So dvitiyasya adhyayasya prathame pade dvitiye pade cha samasa vidhayaka sutrani grijyante. So all these affix from starting from here, actually starting from here technically samasaha. So if you want to form a compound in this language, we have to find a sutram, maybe a vartikam, in 2-1 or 2-2 of the Ashtadhyayi. No compounding can be done unless there is a sutram or a vartikam, maybe a nyapakam, which has to be in 2-1 or 2-2 of the Ashtadhyayi. So from here, samasaha, all the way down to the end of this is a very small section. You see, it's a very small section. If you look at this, see 2-1 only has 72 rules, and 2-2 has only 38 rules. So in 110 rules, Panini covers the topic of what is authorized to be called a compound, how can compound be formed, when can compounding be done. So I know many people say the compound is a difficult topic in Vyakaranam in Sanskritam, but in the Ashtadhyayi, well, it's a small topic because Ashtadhyayi has approximately 4,000 rules. Within that, only about 110 talk about authorizing compound formation. So if you really want to study compounds well, gives a good bang for the buck, so to speak, to study 2-1 and 2-2 thoroughly to understand compounds. But that is not the topic right now. We're going to come to this topic next year. But right now we're going to take only one sutram from that. Only one sutram. It should be very important sutram. Uppadam-ating. We need that sutram. We need that sutram in order to compound these terms para and nya. So that's the next sutram we'll be taking is uppadam-ating. So this is not the end of the derivation. So far we only derived this from nya, this kridantam nya. We are adding ka plus nya. But let's not forget that ka was added on the condition that this upapadam, in this case the upasarga para, is to be used in conjunction with this. So we are not done with the derivation yet. It's going to continue under the next sutram which I have to take, which is uppadam-ating. Uppadam-ating.